Hello everyone, I'm Greg Weaver. Welcome to The Audio Analyst. Today, I'll be taking you on a tour of another room from the 2023 Capital Audiofest that exemplifies the constructive interactions expressed when the right partners focus on exhibiting a synergistic combination of exceptional products. Room 819 was hosted by Gary Leeds, the managing partner of Hear This, LLC of Irvine, California. He was featuring the Hong Kong-manufactured WestminsterLab electronics designed by Angus Leung, whom I had the opportunity to record a conversation with during Expono last April here on the channel with episode 119. That conversation is linked in today's description section. At this event, Gary was joined by Andy Gillis of New Hampshire's Small Green Computer, Fred Ainsley of Lampizator North America, as well as Damon von Schweikert and Leif Swanson of California's von Schweikert Audio. Let's listen to them as these partners walk us through their gear and its contributions to the superb sound generated in this room. Once they have finished, we will get a brief taste of a few tracks, and then I'll share my impressions of the sonic tapestry accomplished in this room. Here they are.
Hi everybody, I'm Andrew Gillis from Small Green Computer, and we're going to start going through all the different pieces of this setup here. This is my Small Green Computer Sonic Transporter i9 optical. It's a music server. It's got internal storage. It's got an i9 processor, really fast processor for upsampling, and it's running the Roon core. That's the music source for the room. This is connected to an Ethernet switch, and then it goes optical Ethernet over optical fiber instead of wiring to eliminate noise to the streamer here. So this is the Sonore Signature Rendu SE. So it's a Roon ready streamer. If you open Roon, it just kind of shows up in there. And so it's got the optical Ethernet in, and then it's got USB out. And so the music plays to the USB DAC, which is over here.
Hello, I'm Fred Ainsley with Destination Sound, based on Long Island, New York. I'm here today actually showing the Lampizator Horizon Statement DAC. We've been presenting this with just fabulous results and great feedback. This came out about 2 years ago, and it is actually a tube-based digital analog converter from Poland. Aside from being a tube-based DAC, this is also a full-featured preamp. It's got inputs for all of your multimedia needs. It's got I2S, USB, ASEDU. Basically, the whole gamut is here. One of the things that obviously makes this pretty unique in the market is the tube-based output stage. Now, a lot of people see the tube output stage and assume that this is here to smooth over nasties or to basically conceal some of the problems that people associate with digital. But make no mistake, this design choice was to provide a beautiful liquid organic sound. You get all the analog flow, essentially, without losing the resolution of the top solid-state DACs. This unit is manufactured in Warsaw, Poland. Retail pricing is about $49,000 US, and we hope you enjoy.
Welcome to Capital Audiofest 2023. First, I want to thank Gary and Lou for putting on an amazing show. It was the best show ever, and we're very privileged to be here. I also want to thank my room partners, Rob and Fred from Destination Sound Group and Lampizator, Andrew Gillis from the Small Green Computer Company, and Damon von Schweikert from von Schweikert Audio. We've had a great show. This is a band that's been together 3 times, and we love the system synergy we have. I'm responsible here for presenting WestminsterLabs, which is a relatively new to the United States line of solid-state electronics, designed and built by Angus Leung from Hong Kong. What I'm standing in front of is our Quest fully balanced preamp. 5 inputs, and you might notice there's 0 buttons and knobs on this. Everything is controlled from this simple remote. On the right side of the preamp, we have inputs numbered 1 to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And over here, we have 1 decibel increments from 0 to 60. And we can easily do that. And naturally, we have a mute function. The chassis design incorporates about 50% carbon fiber for what we think is the lowest noise and most dynamic preamp in the industry. I'm going to next move over and talk about the matching amplifiers. Coming out of the brilliant Horizon DAC from Lampizator and then into the Quest, which we just talked about, are my favorite piece, the REI Class A monoblock amplifiers from WestminsterLab. These little babies are Class A amps that are 100 watts into 8 ohms, 200 watts into 4 ohms, and 400 watts into 2 ohms. Now, most people come up and ask if this is a Class D amplifier. No, this is a hand-wired, pure analog Class A amplifier that produces that level of it. And it also has an extremely low heat profile, which is not typical of Class A amplifiers. So we're very proud to be powering the new VR-55 MkII speakers. I believe they're SEs. Damon, and I'm going to let him talk to you about how these components together couple up to power his brilliant loudspeakers.
Hi, I'm Damon von Schweikert with Von Schweikert Audio, and Greg, I want to thank you for taking the time to come through this system. I'm very honored to be showing our brand new VR-55 MkIIs with this team. To be frank, I'm very particular about a system because I know a system is only as great as its weakest link, and this is such a strong chain of electronics and gear and professionals that put it together, and they know how to get good sound, and I'm very honored to be a part of that team. Today, like I said, we're showing our VR-55 MkII. The VR-55 came out in about 9 years ago, 2014, and was very successful, one of our strongest models, and actually was the first to incorporate the Accuton ceramic drivers paired with our Berlin tweeter. If you look through our lineup now, especially our ultra high-end products, they're all the same kind of makeup with the same materials, because the resolution and realism is so, and musicality is so great with this combination. And like I said, we've had a long time to work on it. We developed our Ultra line, and so we started with our Ultra 11s and trickled on down. And 9 years later, we finally got back to our VR-55. So I'm very excited to present this. One of the things that's most important to understand is over the last 9 years, there's been a lot of material upgrades in inductors and capacitors, as well as signal path, but this incorporates all those benefits. This is the first speaker to incorporate the foundation amplifiers. We began introducing this type of booster amplifier back in the 2004 with the DB99, but and we had several generations of this. Those, I would say, were evolutionary upgrades. This is a revolutionary upgrade in performance, specifically in lower distortion, in speed and intelligibility. It's a much quicker amp. It's 1400 watts. So if you're running a small amplifier or a giant amplifier, it's not going to have any problem keeping up with it. And for those who are not familiar with this technology, what we do is we take the high-level signal off whatever amplifier you have, in this case the wonderful REI amplifiers, and we bring it in, the signal goes in the top pair of binding posts through a passive network and drives our mid-range and treble and rear ambient array. But on the base network, we go into a Lundahl transformer. And what that does is it completely decouples this foundation amplifier from your main amps. And then we take that, we drive it into the amplifier, and all we do is put an amplitude control of plus or minus 9 dB. And then that is fed into a passive network, there's no DSP, and it's fed to the drivers. Why that's critical is because when you're setting up, well, when a speaker is measured, especially when it's designed, the goal is to get flat frequency response, typically in an anechoic chamber or test environment. But once they're in production and they go into the real world, they'll take on the characteristics of the room, whether it's absorbing sound or reinforcing. And bass is obviously the biggest dictator of where your speakers are going to go in the room. And even then, even when you find the best spot that they're going to sound in the room, that's the best bass performance you're going to get. But with a design like this, you decide where they're going to go in the room, you set it flat to that point, and you get performance that exceeds a traditional purely passive system. So the VR-55 MkII, that's what we're presenting today. There's also a special edition model that we showed earlier at the this year's LA show. And the main difference there, it's the composition of drivers is identical except for the mid-range. In the SE model, it incorporates the ultra mid-range and slight change the topology. It integrates beautifully. It's a big jump in resolution for an additional 10K for the special edition with that mid-range. Anyways, they're in production. They're out in the dealers. They're getting out in the dealers. So if you're interested, please take the time to contact us or your local dealer and get a listen. I hope you enjoy the audition.
shot this just as the show was closing Sunday afternoon, so I very much appreciate their making the time to shoot this system walkthrough. Streamed music in this room, either from files or streaming services, was delivered from Andy Gillis' Small Green Computer Company's i9 optical Gen 2 music server with internal file storage and a Roon core. It is connected via Ethernet to a switch which uses an optical connection to reduce noise to the Sonore Signature Rendu V2 USB interface, streamer, and renderer. Now, I have only heard these very popular devices at shows, but they have never failed to deliver, just as they have here. The Sonore hands off via USB to the superb Lampizator Horizon DAC from Poland that I reviewed in print and enjoy the music and here on the channel in episode 129. And I've also included links to both of those reviews in today's description. This world-class DAC, with its massive size, the creative implementation of the retro-looking Nixie tubes and their near non-existent self-radiated noise level, all combine to make this one of the finest digital engines in my experience. Seriously, this DAC, with the right 16-bit 44.1 kHz FLAC file, has the ability to render those files more like a live performance than some LPs. Those of you who understand will know what a strong endorsement that is coming from me. This world-class DAC handed off to the unique WestminsterLab Quest line stage, which in turn fed a pair of Class A WestminsterLab Ray monos. In my previously mentioned conversations with WestminsterLab designer Angus Leung, we touched on how he has been able to create such small and light Class A amplifiers. Keep in mind that the Rays weigh in at just over 35 pounds each. Implementing a combination of technologies, including one that Angus has termed iBias, a proprietary technology to dynamically adjust the amplifier's bias, taking into consideration the current and load of the amplifier, he suggests that the Ray also achieves a notably faster warm-up time compared to typical Class A amplifiers. This innovative approach enables the Ray to deliver the coveted benefits of Class A amplification, while greatly diminishing the typical shortcomings of this class. Its ability to maintain optimal performance while mitigating issues associated with heat generation and power consumption really helps individualize the performance envelope of the Ray. As with the digital front-end gear in this room, I have only heard the WestminsterLab gear at shows, but Gary and I are working on an audition of the entire system, including the monologue phono stage, in my reference rig soon. The Rays then drove the remarkable new von Schweikert Audio VR-55 MkII Active loudspeakers to remarkably accomplished levels of sonic performance. What amazing sound this amalgam of gear produced. Bass was tight, defined, extended, and impactful. Mids were live with bluster and vitality, and highs shimmered and sparkled with detail, adding space and air that was enchanting. Having lived with Albert von Schweikert's original VR-55 Aktives from shortly after their introduction at the 2014 Rocky Mountain Audio Fest, until I took possession of the exquisite von Schweikert Audio Ultra 9s in October of 2019, I feel safe to suggest that I was familiar with the original VR-55 Aktive product and its abilities. But as you can see and hear, Leif and Damon have more than merely improved upon the existing design. As Damon touched on in his discussion of the advantages of the VR-55 MkII Aktive, with traditional passive loudspeakers, the listening room will dictate not only where the speakers will need to be placed, but ultimately how good the bass will sound. By incorporating the use of the 700-watt built-in foundation amplification between the woofer binding posts and the passive crossover network to drive the dual ceramic honeycomb bass drivers, the listener may choose exactly where they would like to place the speakers in the room, then adjust the bass drivers with an analog attenuator to deliver the most accurate, highest possible linear response in that location, regardless of the room dynamics. This biamplification operation allows anyone in any room to achieve superb bass extension, impact, and tonality, while accurately matching bass output level with the upper frequency ranges. When you factor in the implementation of the industry's only ambience retrieval system, with its effects level control feeding the customized rear-firing ribbon tweeter, a dipole design that creates a bubble of sound rather than a narrow beam, you can experience the recreated depth and space found in a concert hall in a manner not possible with any other brand of loudspeaker. In all, the VR-55 MkII Active represents over 40 years of advanced VSA's proprietary sound engineering. As I've stated repeatedly over the decades, the remarkable von Schweikert audio ambience retrieval system, founded on Albert von Schweikert's original acoustic inverse replication theory, pioneered and first published after 4 years of development under the guidance of Dr. Richard C. Heiser at Caltech in 1980, is unique and landmark engineering and design technology. While there are many exceptional loudspeakers being manufactured today, none of them, not a single one, has the ability to regenerate as believable, as palpable, as realistically three-dimensional or more corporal sense of the space captured on a recording than any von Schweikert audio loudspeaker employing this pioneering, unique attribute. Again, kudos to Andy, Fred, Gary, Damon, and Leif for delivering on such a wonderfully engaging musical system. As always, thanks for taking the time to drop by today. Further information on supporting the channel may be found in today's description section or at my website, theaudioanalyst.com. Please stay safe and keep the music playing. Till next time, cheers.